So hello and welcome to this Sanctuary from Your Sofa special. You're joining us here at Shelter 4. Now those of you who were watching our Sanctuary from Your Sofa event on Easter Sunday will have noticed that unfortunately we had some technical issues here at Shelter 4, which actually meant that we weren't able to show you the donkeys. We wanted to be able to do that. We wanted to be able to catch up with Ashley, Zena and friends here. So we're back with this little pre-recorded snippet. And we're joined by farm manager Maxine, who's going to introduce us to some of the donkeys.
Good morning everyone and welcome back. We're glad to have you. As you can see, we've got the variety of Shelter 4 donkeys here. We've got large donkeys, brown donkeys, skewbald donkeys, and actually these are quite fit and healthy. We've got a couple donkeys in here that we're just training for the rehoming scheme. So you can get up and get more details with that online if you wish to give a home to 2 donkeys. We've got resident adoption donkeys here. We've also got some new donkeys that we'll just head down and meet. And these 2 little mushroom colour donkeys that are in front of us, this is Topsy and Sally. They've not been with us long. They came and arrived at the sanctuary during COVID. They're settling in quite well. They're on a special diet, but as you can see, they're enjoying the grass and munching. They're very much close to each other. They've got that very close bond, as donkeys do. And once they've got a friend, they do seem to have the friend for life. I think she's going to come and actually talk to us. So as you can see, she's getting a bit more confident in being with us and meeting the grooms. So we are very fortunate. She's mixing with other donkeys. It's very difficult for new donkeys when they arrive at the donkey sanctuary because they normally come in as a single or as a pair. And then they go through our new arrivals unit, which is roughly about 6 weeks. And then we decide at that time, we give them a check over, the vets check them, and we decide then which farm they're going to go on. And as you can see, Ivy, she is quite settled with her other friends. And as you can see, she's a bit inquisitive with the camera. And you can hear the munching and hear the birds singing. We're very fortunate here. It's very quiet, and I think she might come and investigate the camera. So this is Zena, who's really coming to see you all, but we'll talk more about her later. And as you can see, they're enjoying the grass. At the moment, they're out on the pasture. We still bring them in at night, where they have their straw, which they have ad lib. They're not out day and night as yet. We look to roughly do that around May time. And they're all quite calm and quite relaxed. We have maximum of 19 donkeys in this group. That's enough for the bedded area should it get a bit frosty or a bit snowy and we need to shut them in off the fields or in the yards if it becomes a bit icy. All the donkeys in this group have infrared heat lamps, so if it gets too cold, and in the minuses, we put those on for them. Again, we've got some donkeys with collars, some without. They tend to play with the collars and interact with each other and pull them off. The yellow collars are for the girls and the red collars are for the boys. If you see any tabs with orange on any of our collars, on any of our donkeys, that means they're on medication. But as you can see, they're all in their little groups. And those 2 young ones that are playing in the background, they're the next 2. That's Curry and Ruby. And we're training those at the moment. And they'll be lucky to go and be rehomed to a private home.
So we've talked a little bit about rehoming here at Shelter 4. Is that something we do quite a lot of?
It is. Any donkey that we feel is fit and healthy and we would benefit from a private home. They have medicals, they have checks, we check their teeth, we check their feet, they check their eyes, their heart. And if they're fit and healthy, it doesn't matter if they come in and they could have had some behavioural problems and they're frightened of people, we will work really closely with them. And then a private home will, if they've got the minimum of an acre of grazing, they've got hard standing, they've got stables, they can rehome a pair of donkeys. And very much it's a process, but the donkeys benefit so much from it. Some enjoy being here, and we know that due to medical reasons it would be no good for them to go out because it's close to our hospital here. We've got our vets, we've got our vet nurses. But in a lot of cases, if they're fit and healthy, the average age of a donkey is 32. So keeping a donkey here for 32 years is quite a big thing, when actually they could go out to a private home and enjoy the one-to-one with their owners. But again, they always are under the care of the donkey sanctuary. They remain ours forever. But again, we're just very lucky, and these guys are very lucky too. But Topsy and Sally, our newest residents, they won't ever be going out. They'll be staying here with us. But I don't know if you can see, but she's got a bit of a curve on her neck. If we get the camera to just come and have a little look. So that's old fat deposits where she'd put on rather a lot of weight, and all the fat deposit goes along the neck. And as they get older, it might not disappear. They might lose weight. And some of the visitors come in and say, oh, it could be a tumour, it could be a lump. But actually it's just extra fat that they've got on their neck that'll never go. So they sport it well, and they're normally quite proud of it. So she's got that little section of her. She's not on a diet, but we do monitor what she eats. They do just have the grass at the moment. Any donkey that might lose weight or lose condition, we have a special feed that we can give the donkeys, specifically made for them. They can have individual feeds, or they can have them as a group. So again, we work to the individual needs of all our donkeys here at Slade.
So we're about to meet three really brave donkeys, Ashley, Zena and Christian, who may not have been here today if it wasn't for people like you. If you'd like to support us by making a donation, head to bray.news/donate or tap on the link below this video. Anything you can give would mean a huge amount to everyone here at the sanctuary.
So here we are. As Charlie has just said, these donkeys would not be with us without your support, your care, and of course our dedicated staff here at Sidmouth and at the hospital, which we have especially for donkeys. Dear Zena was born 3 weeks premature. Most people will think, yeah, that's great, that's okay, but unfortunately for her, our hind limbs didn't work. We were really concerned that after birth she was still laying in the corner, she couldn't stand up and suckle from her mum. So our vets worked and monitored her, and we've just found that she didn't have any strength in her hind limbs. So for those reasons, we tried to support her legs, and we bandaged them up to make them strong. We helped her stand. We did some physio on her. We managed to get the colostrum off of her mum to be able to feed her and stand her against her mum so she could naturally feed herself. It was very difficult, but also we had to supplement her feed, and every 2 hours we had to give her extra feed via a bottle so we could supplement the feed that she couldn't naturally take off her mum. Over time her strength grew, and again with such dedication of our veterinary team, Zena, as you see today, is no worse for wear. Her mum was okay. Sometimes when a mum gives birth to a foal, they're very protective and you can't get near the foal. But in this case, it was very different. I think mum knew that her baby needed our help. And without our help, in the wild, Zena probably would have passed away. But again, you can see she's got beautiful legs. She's got a beautiful coat. And she's a firm favourite, a lot of our adoptive family. And she's really happy here. She is a friend with Ashley, Mr. Khan and Zena. And again, they were all born up and they grew up together. And whereas we thought we'd arrive in this group and they might tend to go off and find other friends, that wasn't the case. I know you see today that they're all munching away and they're on their own. But if we go back to doing weighing, or we have the farrier, or the vet comes to do dentals and checkups, they soon get back with their close bonded friends as protection and as comfort as well. But as you can see, her ears are pricked and she's quite happily grazing amongst us today. Bit of noise going around in the background, but I think that's mainly due to everyone's opening up and campsites are opening. It's just all getting a bit busier here in Sidmouth. So here in front of us, we have Christian. Christian has a broken coloured coat. This is called a skewbald donkey. He's sporting a red collar, which means he's a boy. And I don't know if you can notice, but from his knee down to his foot, it's quite upright and quite straight. Now, when dear Christian was born, we noticed that he couldn't actually put his feet straight on the floor, so that they were on a flat angle. What he used to do was stand on his tiptoes, very much like a ballerina. And what Christian actually had was a syndrome called Ballerina Syndrome. Now, we were very lucky, again, because of the hospital, because of the expertise in our veterinary department, that we were able to operate on both his front legs. Each leg was done separately at a different time. And with the operation and with a lot of recuperation in the hospital, he gradually learnt to stand on his front feet, as you can see today. After the operation, he ought to have special shoes on. So these are like a horseshoe would be in metal, but it's like a plastic. And it builds a wedge, like we might have wedges in shoes if feet aren't quite level. And again, it helped him to walk. Gradual, small walking, small paddocks, as you can see, as Christian is today. But unfortunately, last year, the syndrome came back. He obviously lives with it, and the same thing happened again. And he did have to go to the hospital for more surgery last year. But as you can see, he once again has recovered well. And you might ask why we do surgery with the donkeys, like Christian. But apart from this syndrome, he is fit, happy, and very well. He loves his scratches. Most donkeys love a good scratch here. And he had no other health problems. So that's why we, with your care, with your donations, were able to do work like this on special donkeys like Christian. Just to my left is dear Ashley. Now, any of you that do adopt him might have missed him of late, but he is here. And as you can see, he's quite quiet today, not causing any, what should we say, characteristic traits with our grooms. He unties other donkeys when we're grooming. He tips out wheelbarrows. He undoes our shoelaces. He even plays with toggles on our coat. But he's got his lovely grass at the minute, so he is quite quiet. And you might wonder why Ashley, again, is one of our other special donkeys, and how it was that he might not have been here today. Ashley was born at the Donkey Sanctuary, but unfortunately and very sadly, he lost his mum at birth. Bringing a foal up who's lost his mum is very difficult. It's not easy. They might not take to the bottle. They might not take to the handling that we have to do that the mum can't do. But we did. We bottle fed Ashley in a bottle, and as you would a baby, every 1.5 to 2 hours. And that was with the dedicated grooms and the team to make a rota so that we could feed Ashley day and night. We were very lucky that he had Zena, he had other foals, he had other mums that had foals that didn't reject him and just kept him looking after himself and in order. But Ashley very much thought he was one of us. We were his playmates, and today he still thinks the same. But as you can see, he's very fit and very well and very hairy. So he requires lots of grooming, and he'll require it day in and day out if we gave it to him. It's the time of year now where this coat will gradually come off because he'll molt with all the lovely weather that's coming. But he's friends with Christian, and when Christian went off for his last operation, Ashley actually went with him. So he wasn't here in Sidmouth for a while, but again, the hospital grooms loved having him there. And as you can see, he is so content and so happy, and he is very special. We do need to make sure we put everything away, otherwise Ashley will help us. But as you can see, he loves his scratches and his cuddles, and he's loving the attention today.
Thank you very much for watching. If you missed any of our live event on Easter Sunday, all of that is available to watch on our YouTube channel and website. From us and the donkeys here at Shelter 4, we'll see you soon.